Hello and welcome to the Process podcast. You have a new host, me, today. My name is Ant Haynes. I am taking the podcast with two of my fellow colleagues, which I'll introduce in a second, but because our two regular hosts, Ed Haynes and Chris Toison, are currently away on their holidays, their vacations, their annual leave, although Ed takes more than one, so I guess it's no longer annual leave. Karan, to my right, we'll start with you. How are you, my friend?
Doing good.
What are you up to at the moment? Apart from being on a podcast, what have you got? And then what have you been up to for the last couple of weeks, and what's in the next few months?
The last few weeks I've been training for a triathlon on Tuesdays and Fridays mainly. So I have the triathlons coming up on Sunday, the coming Sunday. So we're shooting this on 31st July. So August 4th is the triathlon. And then, after that, we have another HYROX race coming up.
Do you want people to come and watch you in your triathlon race? Is that why you're announcing the date?
This won't be ad by then. It'll be, they have to watch the highlights. They can find the results online though.
So you just basically
it would have already gone viral.
Yeah, you're saving them 20 hours of their life. Your sprint trial.
He was setting himself up for that.
Okay, sorry, continue. And you have your HYROX coming up?
Yeah, HYROX.
Back in individual?
No, we're staying in mixed doubles. We're looking to try to get a qualification spot for the world champs, mixed doubles with Rue, back in Singapore, August 31st, September 1st.
And it's in Singapore, but it's a different location, right?
Correct, yeah. The last one in June was in the National Stadium. This one will be in one of the expos. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So indoor,
yeah.
Nice. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Hope you qualify. Does this mean that you're becoming an endurance athlete now, or are you no longer doing CrossFit?
No, the eventual goal in my mid-30s is to become an endurance athlete. Like we've discussed this, we've spoken about this, ultra sports like ultra running and triathlons. But
you do know ultra running means you got to run more than 10K, right?
I do. Ultra running, I know ultra runs are more than 42K, so anything more than a marathon.
Yes,
so exactly. I do know that.
I'm saying 10K because I don't think I've seen you run more than 10K without crumbling.
That's very accurate.
Yeah.
I have ran a 21K once in my life.
Okay.
But I'm building myself up to that. Nice. So the triathlon will be the first step towards a 2.5-hour race. Now I know you're going to say I've had a 2.5-hour race already.
Yeah. You had much more than a 2.5. For those that don't know, by the way, Karan actually set the world record for the world's slowest HYROX time ever. There was an 85-year-old dude who beat you.
That is true. I don't know. I don't know if I still hold that record. But if I do, I'll still take it because there's no bad publicity.
I mean, look, I was very proud of you for finishing, and I think I held your hand for a little bit of it, but you do realize that I had to stop the organizers from tearing down like the inflatables, and I had to basically make the volunteers work overtime.
Yeah.
They were furious when I pointed over to your Reebok trainer, which was hanging above the barrier, and they're going, no, everyone's done. I'm like, no, my friend is still over there. Sorry. And they're like, how is he possibly still going? Everyone finished half an hour ago. And there you were. So anyways, look.
For context, I'm not slow. I was having a full body seizure.
Okay. Well, we're glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Can I just laugh at full body seizure?
I know you haven't done a triathlon.
Yep.
Okay. I don't want to talk about this too much, but I just want to make you aware that the run is at the end of the 3, right?
Playing mind game, trying to get in my head just 4 days before
you
the race.
Swim, you bike, and then you run.
That is correct, yes.
But you couldn't even do a 1K run after a 1K ski. So how do you think it's going to go? Like, you confident?
Oh, you're talking about the HYROX?
Yeah. Or I could talk about any other running situation you've been in if you want.
No, I'm confident.
Yeah.
Done simulations, did a 30K bike. Obviously, it was in intervals. It wasn't continuous.
Yeah.
It was indoors. Haven't done it in race conditions. Haven't swam in open water. Haven't taken the road bike out onto the road. A lot of what ifs.
Sound like you've really prepped well for this.
But I mean, I had 3.5 weeks. No excuses. But I'm happy with what I've done with the time that I've had. Like I said, I don't want to dedicate all my training days to this. Only Tuesdays and Fridays were dedicated to triathlon training. The remaining days were still CrossFit because, like, your question was, am I going? Yeah, no. The answer is yes. The overarching goal still remains the same as it was when I first joined Coastal as a member in 2020 summer. is to be the fittest in India. So that doesn't change. That's the overarching goal. And in the meantime, I enjoy competing. I want to put myself out there, challenge myself, and I do see myself moving eventually to endurance sports in my mid-30s. So this is just a taste of it. Either way, whatever happens on Sunday is going to be an experience. So.
Well, best of luck, Karan.
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll crush it either way. I won't be there to save you at the top of the mountain if you do go into a full body seizure this time. Megan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm entertained.
You're entertained.
I'm enjoying this.
Are you not entertained?
I am entertained.
Okay, good. Well, I think your past few weeks and months have been very different to Karan's. Karan seems like he's been
so. I'm a little bit envious.
Sticking his fingers into different pies. You can look into that how you want, but he's been trying a lot of different things over the last few weeks and months.
No pies.
And I think yours has been a little bit different.
You
finished up semifinals, the CrossFit semifinals in Korea. And yeah, I guess you can take it away from here now.
Well, I've just basically spent the last few weeks and months really focusing on rehabbing a few niggles that I ignored. That because I ignored those few niggles, they kind of evolved into much bigger problems. I have a goal of being able to run 1K. Never mind more than 10. Never mind an ultra endurance athlete. But yeah, I would like to be able to run pain-free. I'd like to be able to squat clean again.
Yeah.
Pain-free. And until I do that pain-free, I'll be continually rehabbing until that happens.
Good.
So,
Well, hey, you can join the rehab club.
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
How are you doing?
It's all right. My elbow is, for those on the video that can see, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Probably shouldn't do that. Elbow is almost straight and probably missing about 5 degrees of extension
It's
still.
extremely impressive.
It's close, yeah. So I'm in, I saw the doc last week, which is week 8. So I'm in week 9 now since the operation, and it feels pretty good, to be honest.
Want to mention dates like Karan did? Or?
I don't actually know dates, to be honest, like that. If you want to come watch my next competition, I can't tell you what that's going to be just yet. But yeah, no, it feels really good. I'm able to load it. I actually did my first muscle clean and power clean today, which was cool. Actually,
awesome.
my wrist and shoulders hurt, or my wrist and shoulder on my right side hurt the most. Elbow just feels a little bit stiff. Of course, I'm just a little bit uneasy with it, like a little bit nervous and that sort of stuff. But honestly, it feels pretty good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
And what about you? Do you have any events coming up in the near future, or is the focus just on getting healthy now?
Yeah. So if I know my competitive self, I know if I was to set an event and focus on that, I would ignore my niggles.
Yeah.
So no, unfortunately, no events coming up, but we'll get there. I definitely am competitive. I do want to do the Open again. I want to do quarterfinals again.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Are you looking at team or individual?
I don't know yet.
Don't know
yet.
Oh, much like me, I don't know yet either. All right, well, good to have you both on the podcast today.
Yeah.
Today's topic, we don't actually have a specific topic, but for those that are watching this podcast right now or listening in, of course, you most probably know that the Paris Olympics is currently happening. So we're going to make the topic based around the Olympics, based around sport and competition, and just a few kind of, I guess you can call them controversial topics within it. So we'll start with the Olympics. Firstly, have you guys been watching the Olympics?
Not as much as I would have liked to have been.
Yes.
So normally it's it's almost like it's a holiday in my family. We watch the opening ceremony, we watch all the events, we watch sports we've never heard of. It's something that my family are really passionate about. So unfortunately, this time I haven't been. So no.
Is that just because you can't get the channel?
That's actually it.
Okay, right.
Also, the time difference
isn't
is
great.
huge
Yeah,
compared to what
great.
I'm used to.
Yeah, for sure.
So the time difference is one.
The last Olympics was great for us because it was in Tokyo.
Right.
So it was a couple of hours.
Still,
and now
I had
it's
the time difference issue
8,
then.
9. It sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually embarrassed to say this. I have still not watched an Olympic event this year.
Yeah.
And I actually, when I'm saying that now, it annoys me because I actually love the Olympics.
I'm annoyed too.
I watched, I keep up to date with all as many highlights as I can, but even those are really hard to come by these days because if you don't have an official channel or whatever the provider is in your country, it's really hard to get. These are really pathetic excuses, to be honest. I was going to say, I've actually just ordered an Amazon Fire Stick from online. And it should be arriving either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And that should give me access to a lot of illegal channels. And Hopefully, I don't get arrested for that. But anyways, yeah,
Karan's face.
I'll be watching from next
Somewhere
week.
else.
Hopefully, Karan, have you been watching the Olympics?
No, I haven't been watching the Olympics. For me, I think the main reasons are just timing.
Mm-hmm.
Timing wise, I think it's at odd times. I've just been busy. I haven't been. I don't follow too many sports nowadays.
Only endurance sports.
No, I only follow sports that I am currently involved with myself. So I probably mainly watch, I guess, CrossFit. Sometimes weightlifting, some powerlifting. But I do catch up on sports in the sense that I'm either reading news articles or reading like on the internet. Watch highlights maybe of other sports. So I have an idea of what's happening, but actively following, no.
Yeah.
What if they made HYROX an event at the Olympics? Would you watch it then?
Yeah, probably
HYROX
would.
is so damn boring.
I mean,
to
yeah,
watch, I'm
actually,
sorry.
I don't actually know. That's a lie. I don't even watch HYROX now.
I like HYROX for what HYROX is, but I don't
wouldn't
mind
watch
watching
it?
it. No, it's so boring.
I think just even as a competitor, like if it was like my sport, I would still watch it.
Oh, really?
I'm just a nerd like that.
I mean, I've watched Hunter McIntyre do it, and I literally sat there for 54 minutes it took him, and I was like, oh, I'm never getting that back in my life. And I suppose people would say the same thing about CrossFit when you watch like
100%.
5 heats in a row. Go.
Yeah, I know. I think
that
for me, it's
marathon
very.
row.
For
Yeah.
me, it's very. I think based on who I support.
Mhm.
If I don't have, what's the saying, a dog in the race, then I'm not watching the sport.
Many top Indian athletes?
We've won 2 bronze so far
Yeah.
in rifle.
Okay, so not top.
Podium.
No comment on that.
I'm sorry. Podium is podium.
I mean, the
Correct.
fact
It's
that
not top
they're
there. It's not top.
the fact that
It's
they're
top
at the
3.
Olympics is huge, especially from India.
Yeah.
Um,
What was RJ saying to us when he walked into the?
Yeah,
Yeah,
RJ was giving me shit, even though his wife's Indian, about how Hong Kong has 2 gold medals and 1 bronze, and they have a population of
3 gold medals now, by the way.
3. Oh
Yeah.
shit! Who won the 3rd gold?
There was a guy last night.
Oh wow. And what's the population? Yes, 7 million.
Yeah. So
Around 7 million. That's the population of my city, Bangalore. And India has a population of I don't know what it is now, 1.8 billion,
a lot.
around there. And we just have 2 bronze to show for that. But that just goes down to show how academically oriented
Yeah,
India
of course.
is.
I was just
and
about to say,
just
like-
grassroots levels. Like
Yeah.
sports is not promoted in India, and yeah, we can go down that rabbit hole. But I think to the point of like watching sports like HYROX or any sport, if I don't have a dog in the race, I'm not watching the sport. Like if I'm being completely honest, even with the CrossFit Games, because you're not at the games this year, until you tell me what events are there, I haven't been following the media. I haven't been following these pages or YouTube videos. I definitely will watch the games and I'll like get stuck into it next weekend. But
I was gonna say they've lost a viewer now because Ant's not there.
Yeah.
I think they've lost
Just
one.
one viewer, yeah.
Just one.
Just one
a few,
viewer.
a few viewers, I'd say.
Things like Rafa Nadal might be his last.
Yeah, last
Might be
year.
his last competition. Andy Murray is his last competition. There could be a few guys like that. That doesn't interest you, or I know you love tennis because you're wearing a tennis hat every day. But
I think tennis wise, I don't see the Olympics as the highest level for
okay, yeah,
for tennis.
because they bring like amateurs sometimes. And that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
and they don't take it, and people don't take it as seriously as in the only reason Djokovic and Rafa are doing it now is because Djokovic wants to win a gold.
Yeah.
And he hasn't won a gold at the Olympics yet. Nadal's already done it, right? But if they wanted to prioritize winning a gold medal, they would have probably done it when they were
Yeah.
younger. And
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Meg,
Yeah.
in terms of the Olympics then, as a competition, and I guess let's start with what the Olympics stands for. So I got the official 3 values here. So
Share
the
them with
3
me.
values of Olympism are excellence, respect, and friendship. Yeah, I didn't even know that word existed, to be honest, and I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. They constitute the foundation on which the Olympic movement builds its activities to promote sport, culture, and education with a view to building a better world. Now, there's loads of stuff underneath that I've watched of what excellence, respect, and friendship is. But in terms of the Olympics being a competition, do you support it? And things that are a bit different with the Olympics are like it rolls around every 4 years,
Right.
kind of like a Rugby World Cup or a Football World Cup or an Asian Games. It happens every 4 years, so obviously like the chances of getting into Olympics are very slim or small. In terms of the countries and the nationalities that are represented, all that sort of stuff. So do you support the Olympics? Do you think it's a a fair playing field? Do you think it's unfair playing field? Like,
I'm not going to sit here and say I don't support the Olympics.
Well, you can.
No, but I definitely do.
You can have a gripe with the Olympics if you want.
Thank you.
With the IOC.
No, I definitely do support the Olympics. I think it now that there's other methods of sport coming up, I feel like it's not the only and the pinnacle of fitness. But back when I was growing up, it was.
Yeah.
So it gave myself and other people that I grew up with and knew like something to almost look at and try and aim towards, which was really cool. So you had like something to try and aim for and to achieve. To qualify to be on an Olympic team would be insane. So we always had that as a goal in mind.
Yeah.
And I think that gives a lot of kids almost like a trajectory of like where to aim towards. I think any competition does that really. So I really love the Olympics for that. And I think like even when you say it's like every 4 years, it's pretty cool because I remember being 12 and working out, okay, well, I'm 12 now and in 4 years time, I'll be 16. So I'll be a good age to maybe qualify for the Olympics. Okay, but at 16, maybe I won't make it. So at 20, that would be a good age. Like I used to plan around that.
And what sport would that be?
Swimming.
Swimming.
I was like, had my heart set on the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would your event be?
100-meter freestyle, 100-meter front crawl.
How does your time compare back then to the times now?
Yeah. So times now, okay, so back then I wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
But the times now are rapid.
Yeah.
Absolutely rapid. I actually don't know the women's current 100-meter freestyle world records.
Yeah, I think that race is coming up in a few days' time. Yeah.
So I don't know what the winning times would be for that.
Yeah.
But back then I wasn't too far off that being a possibility.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Would you have got a Olympics tattoo if you'd qualified?
I definitely would have.
Would you have just got the rings?
Yeah.
Or would you have got something different?
No, I would have got the rings. I like envisioned it. I really wanted it like on my forearm. Like I knew where I was going to get it. Like we had, my heart was set on the Olympics.
You can get to the CrossFit Games, just get the CrossFit Games tattoo if you want.
No, I'm not going to.
2.0, actually, remind me, you can flash it up on the podcast later on, but when Ed and I went to an athlete camp in China in Hangzhou about probably 7-8 years ago now, there was a guy there who had the Reebok CrossFit Games 2017, I think it was at the time.
Stop.
Or whatever it was, 2000. It was a later date of what the actual date was, but it was actually like, it said Reebok on it. It said the CrossFit Games. It was actually, fair play. You just loved it. So same.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start getting my PRs tattooed on me, I reckon. No, you definitely shouldn't, Karan. You just keep those under wrap, please.
Would you not? If you went to Olympics, would you not get the rings?
Yeah, I definitely would.
Yeah.
Would you get them on your knuckles? Get them on your knuckles.
Just 5 circles.
No, we're gonna get different things on my knuckles.
Oh, what are you gonna get on your knuckles?
Stay hard.
Stay hard.
Yeah. Where you going?
Different meanings of that. We'll talk about that later on.
I wanted to quickly interrupt this episode with a quick shout out to our sponsors, Today Well Spent. I've been using this journal for 2 years and it has made a massive impact on my physical, but mostly my mental well-being. It is a guided journal backed by neuro and behavioral science, which I actually didn't know at the time. It has questions for you to answer at the start of the day, at the end of the day, end of every week, end of every month. And it's brought so much self-awareness to me of the things that positively and negatively impact my life. So if you're someone who cares about your physical and your mental well-being, which I think you do because you listen to this podcast, then go and grab yourself a Today Well Spent. Use the discount code THEPROCESS, one word in capitals, to get your discount.
All right, so I did say we're going to speak about some controversial things that have been happening as well.
Yeah.
So with the Olympics, 2.0 just brought it up as well. For those who don't know who 2.0 is when I keep saying it, that's the man behind the camera, the genius behind the camera. So the Dutch player who is on the beach volleyball team, do you know anything about him?
Yes, I actually just read the news article this morning, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to enlighten us on the Dutch beach volleyball player?
So apparently, this is what I've heard or read this morning was he was convicted of being a pedophile, basically. I think, and he got released.
Released what?
Was he in prison for that? He was, right?
How long did he serve for?
I don't know. But he's been cleared to compete at the Olympics. And he is competing at the Olympics.
What do you think of that? You agree that it's okay to do that?
So I don't
Or
know.
do
the
you
full,
think that? Do you think the Dutch Olympic Committee should have chosen someone else?
I don't know the full details, if I'm being honest. So I don't know.
Oh, here you go. Let me fill you in.
Yeah.
Steven van der Velde, who was sentenced to 4 years in prison in England in 2016 for raping a 12-year-old girl when he was 19. He's now served his time, expressed his regret, and is now representing the Netherlands at the 2024 Paris Olympics. What do you guys think about that?
I think for me, definitely against what he's done. Definitely
so.
wrong. Definitely wrong. That's definitely wrong.
Good job, Karan.
But I think when it comes to sport, and he's served his sentence, he's done his due time, and now he's, according to the law, he's out. He's a free man, and I think people deserve second chances. And I think if he's eligible to compete, he should compete. I think that's my stand on it. But do I respect him as a human? No. But yeah, that's a different story.
Yeah, you've made a really good point. I think if you went back to the Olympic values, I don't feel like someone that has served a sentence for something like that does not uphold to those values.
So yeah, let me repeat. So it's excellence, respect, and friendship, and the Olympics write them as demonstrating respect in many different manners: respect towards yourself, the rules, your opponents, the environment, and the public.
Yeah,
etc.
But I think what you said in terms of like he served his sentence and he's paid his dues, I think that's like, yeah, I think that is where it gets more complicated. The fact that he has served his sentence, and yeah.
So when he came onto court, when his name got announced, obviously a lot of cheers, but also I think a lot of boos rung out around the stadium. Would you be a cheerer or a booer, Mr. Steven van der Velde?
I would stay neutral, but I would not be unhappy if he was banned from the Olympics. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, why is he banned from the Olympics? He should be able to compete. I wouldn't be for him. I'd be neutral. It doesn't affect me in any personal way. So I have no say in that. But I wouldn't, if he got banned tomorrow and not be able to compete, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent with that, but I'm a little bit more, I don't know, more protective over like the victim's family to see that like something has like harmed her and her family and everything, and then for this guy to be called out and his name to be announced and to be celebrated almost, I feel like that's just almost disrespectful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it's a hard one.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Probably. Yeah, I guess I'd be on the fence, and I would probably urge the Netherlands Olympic Committee to maybe reconsider a different selection, but that's just my opinion on it. Again,
if it was
like
an individual sport, it would be different.
Yeah, exactly. He's also paid his dues and whatnot. Yeah. Okay, next one, payment or athletes receiving financial reward for their performances at Olympic Games. So got a little, I remember I saw on Instagram this morning, which was posted by the SCMP, I think it was, the South China Morning Post, a Hong Kong news outlet. So the Hong Kong gold medalist who just won fencing gold last night, he won and took home, I think, around 750,000.
Insane.
For a gold medal, right? Pretty amazing. It's pretty awesome.
US dollars.
I believe that's US dollars, yes, I believe. Which is pretty amazing. And then you got Simone Biles. I think a lot of people who know who Simone Biles are. She's one of the most decorated Olympic gymnasts of all time, and Olympic athletes of all time. She just won her 5th gold medal for the team event last night. And I think she has been taking home about 30 to 35K for each gold. So she is way below old mate from Hong Kong at the moment. What do you guys think? Do you think that, so these guys are getting rewarded, I would assume, by the governments, but then also the national, like the Institute of Sports for their countries. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that they should be getting rewarded through the countries? Let's go back to someone like maybe like in India, like a country who's got billions of people, and although yes, the government might be wealthy, it might not be able to hand out as much money as somewhere like a US or a Hong Kong or a UK, or, fill in the blank. Or do you think someone like the IOC, the Olympic Committee, should be handing out financial reward to these people? Do you think you leave it up to countries? I don't know. I'm not actually sure, but I mean, should it be left up to one
Yeah.
versus the other, or should they both combine? Or yeah, what do you guys think?
I think if there was prize money for every single medal that was won at the Olympics, I feel like that would be extremely difficult, like in terms of money.
Yeah.
So I do agree with the fact that the honor is winning the medal in the first place. I also like the fact that governments are supporting their athletes in paying them for getting a medal or giving them, you know, a prize for representing the country well and getting a medal. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I do understand there will be discrepancies between nationals, and you can't choose your nation.
Yeah.
Like you can't be like, well, this one pays more, so now I'm gonna go and I'll now be from Hong Kong, or now I'm gonna represent the US. And but if you're looking at the Hong Kong athlete versus Simone,
Yeah.
she has so much more financial backing because of being more famous.
Yeah, for sure.
So she's definitely gonna be okay in terms of making money.
Yeah.
But what I think is pretty cool about other athletes is a lot of them are not making money out of sponsorships.
Yeah.
So if their teams and their governments can support them, I think that would be awesome so that they can keep doing what they're doing.
I'm just reading an article here. It says Israel, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, Indonesia are all putting up like $250,000 US just for gold medals for all of their athletes. France, 80,000 euros for golds. And I mean, it's a lot. I think,
Yeah.
you know, obviously countries put a lot of emphasis towards, I guess, like thumping their chest a little bit on the global stage here. I know when I played rugby for Hong Kong, everything for us at the time, rugby sevens wasn't a Olympic sport yet, but it was represented in the East Asian Games and the Asian Games. So didn't Hong Kong sevens, although it's like a massive competition in Hong Kong government didn't give a shit about it. It was all about the East Asian Games, the Asian Games. Where did you place? And Hong Kong was basically, our team was only funded by the Hong Kong Rugby Union, which is a private company, right? And then as soon as we won a silver medal at the Asian Games, then we got inducted into the Hong Kong Sports Institute, which is all funded by the government.
Amazing.
So suddenly we got offered like professional contracts, and that was $45,000 a month. We had food paid for, accommodation paid for if we wanted it. So like, yeah, access to so much stuff. Yeah, but I guess, you know, like you said, not every country, not every governing board has the ability to
do that.
give that sort of stuff out. Pretty crazy. I think it's also, you just reminded me, because we were speaking about this just before the podcast, was, so I also played in a China Games. So China's a massive country, you know, just like India. There's a huge population there. And in the China Games, I remember speaking to some of the guys who lived in China and were like the organizers there. And like, if you think about China Games, you're probably not thinking much is happening. It's not massive. You don't really see it televised. But the China Games in China is the biggest event. So like these guys, if they win gold, so they're basically representing provinces. So I remember we actually lost to Shandong province in the final there. So Hong Kong, China was essentially a province, I guess, and we were competing in that in rugby. But the guys who, for example, you know, something that we all do is weightlifting. So weightlifting, obviously China, we know they're top of the sport for many, many years in weightlifting. Some of the guys who are competing at the China Games were lifting more than your Liu Xiaozhongs, your Xi Jiyongs at the China Games. But they never even went to the Olympics because their payout was like mental. It was just absolutely ridiculous. They were like getting millions and millions and millions of yuan just to win a gold. And then they would get education for their entire family paid. They would get plots of land. They would get homes built. They get transportation. Everything sorted for life. You're basically a complete, you're just a hero to your province. And like these guys never even made it onto the world stage. They just competed in China. And I was sitting there like, no, I mean, I was walking around. I was actually a midget in the China Games. Everyone there was like 7 foot. The basketball players were all like Yao Ming, like nuts, like 7.5 to 8 feet tall, but they didn't give a shit because if they won, they just retired. Right. So we never saw like the pinnacle of China sports. But I guess, you know, on the same thing, like, is cheating in drugs within the Olympics. Like how much do you think people cheat in Olympics? I know we just did a podcast, myself and Ed, on this, but like, do you think there is any clean athletes in the Olympics?
I'd like to believe that there are clean athletes at the Olympics.
We just got defensive.
No.
He's just upset that they're all better than him.
I'd like
He just
to
folded
believe.
his arm for those of you listening. So he feels a bit nervous and a little bit insecure about it. But let's push on.
I think like you guys said in the last podcast, assume positive intent, want to give benefit of the doubt, innocent until proven guilty, whatever you want to call it. I'd like to believe that there are clean athletes and people that actually, strive to make it to the highest level without performance enhancing drugs. But having said that, I'm not going to sit here and be naive and say that everyone at the Olympics is clean. If there's money, fame involved, people are going to find a way to beat the system and cheat. And that's just, even more evident with the sport that we all do now. We see people popping for PEDs, and we know of stories that, years later down the line, people come out claiming that they were on PEDs or they get exposed years down the line. So it's not going to be a case where we just sit here and say, oh, everyone's clean because they're being tested, because people can still beat the system. Even with the Russia scandal years ago, with how they had the A sample, the B sample, how they switched it out, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Meg, if you were living in South Africa,
Yeah.
your family didn't have very much, you're a bit of a freak athlete.
What do you mean if?
If your knees didn't double dislocate when you're swimming in a pool, but if you could do whatever you could, you could take whatever you wanted, any sort of performance enhancing drug, whatever it might be, to get you to become #1 in the world, win a gold medal, and take home one of those big prize packages, which would completely sort your family out for the rest of your life and their life, but no one would ever find out that you cheated, would you do it?
I think the part of that stipulation would be if my family really needed it,
They need it.
then I would.
They're like,
Yeah.
they're really
Then
strong.
I would. But
Yeah.
if it was just me doing it for myself, which is why I do fitness, is to feel good and to test myself, then no, because I really would want to know what I'm capable without it. Yeah. But if my family really needed it, probably.
Sanjeev, how about you?
You already know the answer. I would never, it doesn't matter, irrespective of the outside scenarios. I would,
I love that.
if drugs, PEDs are banned and, it's called cheating, I wouldn't. If they were allowed, and that's something, if that's something that I'd want to partake in, and I'm okay with the side effects or whatever negative harm that might befall my health, then I would consider it. But if it's banned, if it's something that's considered cheating, I would never do that, because it's cheating.
What value does it kind of conflict with that you have?
Just being honest. And
well, actually, it's funny. So the other day when we were in the gym, you were trying to send a text message on Megan's phone. So Megan had left her phone open, and you started scribbling a little text message on there, and then you asked me what you should send, and I kind of said something. I said, actually, you know what? Probably don't do that, because you were sending it to Mark. Mark is Megan's husband. And, this whole thing about honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So an honest person would just say to Meg, oh, yeah, sorry, I typed on your phone. I didn't do it. But actually what you did is, as you thought that I'd already left the gym, you thought that I was no longer in sight and out of the range of your voice. You suddenly then threw me under the bus and blamed the whole situation on me.
Oh my God, Anne, it's been 5 days now. Come on.
It has been 5 days.
I think it hit a nerve.
Yeah.
Why?
But wait.
This is now the second time I've caught Karan throwing me under the bus. Okay, Karan, would you like to answer? Would you like to stand up for yourself?
I'd like to respond.
And take ownership for being dishonest?
So,
is that what you want to do?
I wasn't dishonest. I told Meg, I sent the message.
Yeah.
But the message content was Anne's idea. I told Meg that I wanted to send a message because her phone's open.
Yeah.
But the content of the message was not my idea.
It came from your fingers, though.
Yeah. I told her I wrote it out. I typed it. But the content is not me.
Right. Well, hey, I still think you're dishonest for that. But anyways,
That's
anyways,
not dishonesty.
moving on.
My rebuttal to I'm with Karan in terms of like integrity and honesty and everything. I just think now being a parent and like knowing how much that means to me and my family means to me, I would still, I stand by what I said.
Fair enough. So basically, you're saying that Karan is a wanker for doing what he did. And
Yeah, because he doesn't. Yeah, that,
Fair
and
enough.
also he doesn't love his family.
I agree. Yeah.
Whoa.
And he is
That is
willing to let his family. Oh god.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
it's-
moving on from that point. Okay, so this is something that I haven't been tracking it because nothing's really been happening. But I remember hearing about it a while ago on a Joe Rogan podcast, and I remember them talking about the enhanced games. So the enhanced games, I know, Karan, we just very quickly spoke about it before this podcast, and you said you hadn't really heard about it. So I'll give you just some details on it. So the enhanced games is basically think of like the Olympic Games, essentially. And the idea is to bring together all athletes, whether they are on performance-enhancing drugs, Class A drugs, it doesn't matter. But the idea is to bring people together to try and break world records.
Insane.
So I think when I'm looking at it here, it says, the race for superhumanity is on. Welcome to the enhanced games.
Insane.
The idea here, though, is to not just like pump people full of drugs and whatnot. The idea is they say, let's be clear, drug testing is about fairness, not safety. The enhanced games aims to be the safest sporting event in the world. At the enhanced games, we prioritize athlete safety in partnership with top scientists. We are developing a full system medical pre-competition screening protocol to protect athletes competing in the enhanced games. So basically what they want is people to absolutely smash out world records. And now when you go to actually look at what they are advertising within the enhanced games, they say that 44% of the top athletes in the world have already said that they are cheating or using performance enhancement. That's what they say, right? So they're saying of elite athletes, so basically of all those athletes, anyone can come in. So whether you've been proven to be guilty or not, or that you've had a clean record for your entire life, or you're like,
fuck it, I'm going to start it.
I do it.
Yeah.
I take performance enhancing drugs. You can go and compete in the summer of 2025, which is when the enhanced games intends to launch. So I'm looking at it here and it says the first thing they want to do is pay athletes, and it's a lot of money. So they basically want to pay $1 million for any world records that are broken. So the biggest world records, it says here, all athletes competing in the enhanced games will be paid. We are pleased to confirm that top tier athletes will receive a 6-figure base salary, and that the first athletes to set new records for the 100-meter sprint and the 50-meter freestyle swimming, of course, will receive $1 million. So anyone can enter. So Karan, I know you're a swimmer, mate. You ready to start injecting yourself with some stuff and get involved in the enhanced games?
Let's be honest. I don't think
nothing's gonna save you, buddy. Nothing's gonna save you.
I don't think me taking PEDs is gonna make me break any world records.
Well, you know what? Good honesty.
Yeah.
You've reversed thrown me under the bus. But what do you think? Do you think that's exciting, the enhanced games?
I think that's really cool. When you said break records, though, all that went through my head was they're going to break more than just records, though. It's so unsafe.
Yeah.
Even though they say they're doing all those screenings, it's just so
people will do it to
unsafe.
get to that level in the first place, right?
Yeah, it is so unsafe.
What event? Let's assume they're just taking Olympic events for now, right? What event would you like to see records breaking? Top 3.
The 100-meter sprint.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
I think it'll be for most people, especially after watching Sprint on Netflix recently.
Yeah. 100-meter sprint.
100 meters.
For me, it would be Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
Just to see what was possible. And then personally, I'd want to see some swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karan?
The exact same. I'm not even kidding.
You don't want to see
gymnastics?
kabaddi?
No.
Why not kabaddi?
I don't follow kabaddi.
Kabaddi is a real sport, by the way, people. I'm not taking the piss here. It's a real sport. It's basically a big game of team tag.
That is
essentially what
accurate.
it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can actually smash each other.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool. I saw it when I was at the Asian Games.
That's amazing.
Did you know
gymnastics would be sick?
Gymnastics, but they do such ridiculous things anyway.
Can
like,
you imagine?
How much more could they do there?
I don't know.
Like,
Simone Biles she invented a new move this Olympics that was now named after her.
What was it? You demonstrated?
Sure. She's the only one that's done it.
Can you try and articulate
No,
what she
I
did?
actually, no, it was some kind of flip.
Was it like a back somersault with her legs in a split or anything?
No,
like
I think, I don't know. Don't put me on the spot.
Okay.
But she did come up with her own moves. So I just feel like it is always evolving. But can you just imagine if there was more like unlocked potential in that?
Yeah, I guess it goes down to that thing with like human potential. I know where were we speaking about it recently? Oh no, I was speaking about I'm actually on my CrossFit level 2. It's like the 5-minute mile. The 5-minute mile was impossible.
Yeah.
Until one bloke did it, and then the record was broken. That record was then broken like 20 times within that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, unlocking human potential, but then agreed, like, would it then become like ridiculously unsafe because people
So
are like,
unsafe.
okay, you know, John Smith beat Usain Bolt's time by 20 milliseconds, then it drops another 20, and then another 20. It's like, how much more can I take to do it? I'd love to like, I really want to know more about it.
Yeah.
Because I think it'd be exciting as hell.
Yeah.
Agreed. Like I think it would also show that I don't think that many records would actually drop.
That's what I was also going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say the other thing that could happen from this is that we realize that everyone at the Olympics
Is already
doing it.
Yeah.
But not as much.
And it's not as exciting as
No.
you just see freaks on
You're like,
on the track
okay.
and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm super excited to see what it is. If any of you who are listening or are watching want to find out about it, just type in enhanced.org and it will take you to the website, or just type in enhanced games into Google and it will come up.
It's amazing.
So yeah, something to look out for next year.
But it's also perfect timing for the off season of the Olympics.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
also
true.
going to be so cool because
When everyone in the Olympics is probably doing their
Well,
steroid cycle.
well, that's what I said, because also Olympic athletes are going to be doing the enhanced games because
Right.
anyone can enter it.
Right. And you're
You
getting
don't have to
such
be
a bigger,
enhanced, yeah.
you're getting a much bigger payout than you are at the Olympics. So it depends why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Olympic athletes can actually just want to peak for that,
Yeah.
assuming that they are clean and they remain clean. They could just peak for that event, and if they couldn't break their own record at the Olympics, they could just break that record at, I guess, at the enhanced
Like
games.
you said, innocent until proven guilty with that
Can
stuff.
you if you were then tested afterwards or entered into that, would your Olympic medals be taken away?
100%,
Yeah.
it should be.
I don't know if they're going to tell people if
Yeah.
people are testing positive or anything. I don't know. I don't even know if it's going to be a test like that.
Yeah.
Or is it just a health
just-
screen?
Right.
Because it says safer sport is just a health screen, or is it like, okay, we're going to do like a doping test?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's very different
Very
things.
two different things.
Okay, last topic.
Oh no.
The big one.
Oh, I completely forgot.
All right. Transgender within competing in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Ow, I can see you in the corner of the room over there. You're like, yes, I want to get involved with this one. What do we think?
Starting to sweat.
Yeah. What do you think? Are you for it? Are you against it? Yeah. What do you guys think about it? I mean, we're talking about men.
I just got defensive again. I just want to put that out there.
Karan's crossed his arms. He's ready for battle. Men, obviously, people who are born as males, then competing in like the female categories, and then vice versa as well. How do you guys feel about it? What do you think about it? Karan, I'll start with you
Yeah,
because
I
are ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I have a stance on this. I've thought about this. So I already have an outlook on this. So disclaimer. If you want to transition from female to male or male to female and live that life, I'm all for that. You do you. I want everyone to live their life and be happy with who they are and live their lives authentically, and be true to themselves. That's completely fine. But when you bring competition and fame and money and recognition into the picture, I think it changes a few things, because you can't change biology. You have your XX and XY chromosomes, and if you've been a male your entire life and then you undergo a transition, you're gonna still have some advantage over the females in the field, and that's been clearly evident with a lot of the athletes and with the swimmer, with the swimmer.
New Zealand swimmer. New Zealander? Yeah, she was, right?
With the swimmer, and in a few other sports as well. I've read articles where they're completely dominating their competition at the school level or at the national level.
Although there was a weightlifter.
Yeah, that transition to
It was crap.
Yeah,
He didn't even win a medal.
that is true.
Yeah.
So I think, even from a feminist standpoint, I think I think they agree as well, because you do not want men to come over to a female sport and dominate that. You're taking away from the females in the sport. Now, I do know this counter argument of people saying that, because not all sports do this, right? There's also a period of time where you have to get your testosterone levels down to a certain extent, and then you're reducing your advantage that you would have living life as a male for a certain period of time. If you bring your testosterone levels down, then now it's more fair that you're in the female field. I still don't think that transgenders should be allowed to compete in the female field. You know, you're not going to see the reverse ever happen.
Well,
you're not going to see females that transition to males compete in the male field. They can, but you're never going to see that, because it's just science. Like, men are there are girls who are stronger than me and faster than me.
I was gonna say,
waiting for it.
careful until you say all men are. Say,
No,
not you, buddy.
There are women that are stronger than me, faster than me. I'm saying, like, match for match in the bell curve, in the normal distribution. If you take,
okay.
you know what I mean,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
If you take the top 1%, let's say you're like top 1% CrossFit,
Yeah.
and the top 1% in CrossFit in females,
Yeah.
you're gonna beat the female
Okay,
CrossFitter, right? So that there'll be
Sometimes.
I don't know.
Swimming,
the
I'm
top
not gonna-
CrossFitters will beat me, of course, right?
Okay,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So I don't think transgenders should compete in the female division, to keep it fair. Yeah.
I think, like, where you said if they've been male their entire life, it gets a bit blurry. Because what if parents allowed their child when they're 8, 9, 10 to start transitioning at that age? So they
We're
haven't
still gonna say it's
been
biological, right?
they haven't
I was
been
gonna-
male their whole life. They've had their testosterone brought down, they've had their hormones shifted. It's a question, like, because then you have to put a time limit on it as well, because you just don't know.
I was gonna say that this might be controversial, but if you're 8, 9, I don't think you should be allowed to be doing anything
That's a
to
completely
your
different-
body,
Yeah.
because I think what's
That's a different
happening in
conversation.
the United States with the whole woke culture is completely crazy. I don't think it should be shoved down such impressionable minds. And if you're allowed to make such decisions at such a young age, like, you don't know. I'm not saying that it's a phase. Definitely after 18, you can make that decision if that's who you really are. But there are a lot of cases coming out now where people regret doing that when they were younger because they were allowed to do it. Think back when we were teenagers. Yeah, how stupid were we?
Yeah.
And if we could make such big decisions that would alter our lives forever, I don't think that should even be allowed. Parents shouldn't be giving that decision to their children at that age.
But it has happened.
I know. Yeah.
So, regardless of whether we agree with it or not, would those people class as
Would you be against those people who have
because they're
maybe
technically
had
still
testosterone lowered and
they're still technically transgender, but they've done it at a really young age where they haven't had the benefits of testosterone their whole life.
So I don't know the full science behind that.
Right.
Right? I don't know. So I can't sit here and say that they have an advantage or they don't have an advantage.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that would look like in terms of what gives men the advantage over women in sports. Is it just the testosterone levels?
Or is it mass? Is it muscle mass?
is
Is
it-
it size?
Yeah, because you still I might sound stupid now on the podcast.
Don't worry about it. You
But
guys,
it's like, your XY chromosome, XX chromosome, like how much does it play? Even if you're suppressing your testosterone levels, are there other factors in your genes that will contribute to you being faster, putting on more muscle, recovering slower, quicker? I don't know any of that. So I don't think it would be fair for me to sit here and say that, oh no, then so
Then it's fine.
yeah,
Or it's not fine.
it's not fun. Yeah.
I'm indifferent. I don't know. Mainly because of all those questions I just asked.
Yeah.
It's also a similar situation to Casta Semenya. I don't know if you remember that
the runner,
situation.
I was gonna say South African runner.
South African runner. She looks extremely masculine.
She a 400 runner or 800?
800.
Yeah.
She
She was
looks
sick.
Sick.
So good.
Because she looks more on the masculine side.
Yeah.
So she was like brought into question. So they were like,
Her hormone levels are also
Right.
Oh,
But
testosterone
she-
was high.
Yeah, but she also, so like I haven't done enough research into this myself.
Yeah.
But I think there was something to do with her XY and XX chromosomes as well. But you do get people that are just born genetically different, right?
100%,
So like,
yeah.
but she still, they went to court and she's did loads of blood tests and it was still proven that she is genetically female. So they left
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
she
She's not-
technically had more of an advantage.
But
Based
she's
on
not
her
allowed to
hormones.
compete anymore, was she? I thought she got told she can't compete.
I'm not 100% sure. That
I
would
mean,
be
'cause
interesting.
She's just disappeared now. Anyway.
Well, she's also older.
yeah.
She's like done her time competing.
Yeah. For some reason, I have a feeling that she wasn't allowed to compete.
I did meet her in person,
Yeah.
and she, out of season and out of competition, looks extremely different to when in person competition. So she looked a lot more feminine. Yeah, she looked awesome, and I guess that's
Doesn't look awesome on the track though.
no, but I'm just saying like that's not what I meant. But what I also wanted to say was we get that in CrossFit as well. Like when women are in competition, they look quote unquote a lot more jacked and a lot more on steroids and a lot more masculine than they do out of competition. And I feel like that similar thing happened with Caster Semenya. But yeah, what are your opinions?
I agree with both of you. I think the solution would be is just like you keep males and you keep females in their categories, and just like, you know, I'm not saying they're like Paralympians, but you know, you create a separate category that they can compete in. You
said
have
the
the
word
male transition.
Paralympian.
What's that? you have the males that transition to females, and you have
Yeah.
the females that transition to males, and you make their own category.
Yeah.
There's not going to be enough to start, I don't think, to make
But
it
one day there might
competitive,
be.
But yeah, there might be one day. That's
Yeah.
that's how I see
I
it.
think that's a good solution.
But it's an expensive solution, just
Right.
like anything else, because you're going to need a lot of sponsorship, a lot of companies involved, a lot of people, volunteers, and you're basically making an entire new category, and it's then going to then trickle down to every single sport in the. Yeah, it's a big old rabbit hole to go down, but yeah, I don't think it's fair to allow a male in a female category and vice versa either way.
Would your stance say the same when you make us do the same calories on an echo bike?
Yeah, because that's what the sport dictates.
Just saying you have an advantage.
We do have an advantage, correct, but that's okay. Sport allows it, so it's all right.
Great.
You have to swim 100 meters in freestyle.
That's not a machine advantage in terms of weight distribution.
I've got a bigger frame. It's less dynamic through the water. So we are now wrapping up the podcast. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having
Sanjeev
us.
Always a
and
pleasure.
Meg. Thank you very much. And we'll be back next week with another roundtable discussion. We'll see you then.